Hi everyone, welcome back to Andy on Crime. In today's video, we're going to talk about 5 things that you may not know about being a juror in a criminal trial in England and Wales. Check it out. So number 1, there are no quotas or ratios of male to female that must be on a jury trial. So you could in theory have 12 males or 12 females making up that particular jury. It's completely at random. Now, the extent to which this can affect decisions in, for example, serious sexual offences can and has been debated, but there is no rule against the makeup of the jury. And having an all-male jury acquit in a rape trial would not in itself be a ground of appeal. Of course, there could be other avenues to appeal. So in sum, there's no quotas or ratios for male or females in jury trials. Number 2. Individual jurors are not allowed to conduct their own research into the case once they have been sworn in, and judges will expressly state this in their opening address to the jury that they're not to conduct any research into the offence, contact any witnesses or indeed the defendant on social media, or do any other kind of research into the case. And jurors are only to discuss the case when they're back in the jury room and in the presence of all the other jurors. Jurors who have conducted their own research have caused mistrials in the past, and some have even been charged and jailed, with one woman having exchanged messages with a defendant been sentenced to 8 months in prison for contempt of court. So don't do your own research. Number 3. Majority verdicts. Now, a jury is usually made up of 12 people, and at the conclusion of the trial, the judge will ask the jury to retire and come back with a unanimous decision, that being a decision in which all 12 members of the jury agree either guilty or not. But if the jury fails to come to a unanimous decision, then the judge will permit, after a certain period of time, and this is usually at least 2 hours and 10 minutes, for the jurors to come to a majority decision. Now, the number required for a majority verdict will depend on the number of jurors remaining in the case. This is because from time to time jurors are excused or stood down for various reasons. So if there are 12 or 11 jurors remaining in the case, then 10 of them need to agree in order to convict the defendant. If there are 10 jurors remaining in the case, then 9 of them must agree in order to convict the defendant. And if there are 9 jurors or less, then there needs to be a unanimous verdict. It cannot be in the majority. And if the jury fail to agree, i.e. they don't meet the numbers that I've set out, then the judge will discharge them and the defendant may face a retrial. Number 4. Jurors are allowed to ask questions of witnesses whilst they are giving their evidence, and the judge will say this during their opening address. The procedure for doing so is that the juror will write their question down on a piece of paper, and this will be handed to the judge, and the judge will then read it to themselves. Now, what the judge will be doing is looking at to see whether there are any legal reasons that will prevent the question from being asked. If the question is permissible, he will also consider whether or not the advocate asking the questions may well just be getting to that as part of their evidence, so may wait. But if it is a permissible question, then the judge will simply ask the witness the question that's been written by the jury, and then the witness will be required to answer. And finally, number 5. You cannot ignore a jury summons, and it is a criminal offence to do so. Now, for most people, being a juror will be highly inconvenient, but it is a very important function of our criminal justice system. You can ask to delay or be excused from jury service, providing you have good cause and have the evidence to justify why you can be stood down. And in order to try and be deferred or excused, you need to write to jury central summoning, and details of that should be contained within your jury summons. But do not simply ignore the jury summons, as you may be committing a criminal offence. So to summarise, number 1, there are no quotas for jurors. This can be made up of all male, all female, or a combination of both. Number 2, if you are a juror, do not conduct your own research on social media, and certainly do not get in contact with a defendant on Facebook, Twitter, or any other social media platform, as you will be committing a criminal offence. Number 3, if the jury fails to reach a unanimous decision, then the jury can come to a majority decision, and this is based on the number of jurors that remain in the case. Number 4, you can ask questions as a juror during witnesses' evidence, and I would encourage you to do so But I would caution against doing it too early, because what you will probably find is that the advocate will get to it during their case, and at the end of the evidence the judge will look to the jury to see if there's any questions that they wish to ask. And finally, do not ignore a jury summons, as you may be committing a criminal offence. Engage with the jury service and see whether you can get your case deferred or excluded, providing you have the evidence. Thanks for watching. If you've been a juror, then please post a comment down below and tell us about your experience of serving on a jury. If you did enjoy this video, please consider giving it a like, and if you'd like to see more content from myself, please do subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Take care.